A lot's coming out about Jalen Ramsey and his behavior in Miami and the real reasons why possibly the Miami Dolphins shipped him to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And does that baggage follow Jalen Ramsey to the Steel City?
Power takes an approach as a coach.
Let's go. Let's go.
It's a field back block, and that's
the guy that rolls his body around.
Welcome back, everybody, to Mic Drop Sports. I'm your host, Jason. Let's dive in with that Jalen Ramsey talk and the real reasons why perhaps that he got shipped out and traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And can Mike Tomlin really corral that behavior and handle a superstar player that's been in the league for quite some time in Jalen Ramsey? And will those things follow Jalen Ramsey to the Steel City? I think that it could possibly follow him, and his frustrations could boil over in the city of Pittsburgh. Maybe the honeymoon will be great initially, but maybe down the road, those frustrations start to boil over if the Pittsburgh Steelers aren't competitive. And I think that that's kind of what happened down in Miami. Jalen Ramsey got frustrated. He knew he was with a franchise that wasn't going to win a Lombardi, had no real chance at winning a Lombardi. A quarterback that can never stay healthy, a franchise that spends and just does crazy things in terms of free agency, in terms of trades, in terms of the draft. They just do things ass backwards down there in Miami, and they wonder why they can never get it together and win a championship. Well, when your organization is constantly, again, taking 2 steps forward, but falling so far back every time they make a move, it just doesn't make any sense. Just when you think that they're about to turn the corner and be competitive and be able to start to make some moves inside of the playoffs, it just falls apart. And that's the story of the Miami Dolphins, a team, at least here in the recent history of the Miami Dolphins. So you don't blame Jalen Ramsey maybe for some of it, but yeah, if the reports are true of what he did down in Miami, and that is being late for practices and meetings, that's inexcusable. Being a disruption in the locker room, that's inexcusable. Being a guy that's undermining the culture they were trying to build down there in Miami, inexcusable. If those things are the facts, he cannot bring that to Pittsburgh with him. And if Mike Tomlin allows that to happen, the Steelers could be in trouble because you cannot have disruptions in the locker room, especially with a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers from defensive players, a team that leans on the defense so much, a team that leans on that culture so much. The Steelers have had really subpar rosters at times here over the last several years, especially at the quarterback position. They knew that, they didn't have a championship caliber team they were putting out there, but they relied on the culture and they relied on the Steeler way to remain competitive during their rebuilding phase, to where they weren't finishing with 3-4 wins in a season like some of these franchises do during their rebuilds. The Steelers were able to say, hey, we're going to just stay status quo. We're going to win some games. We're going to rely and lean on our culture. We're going to keep our building clean here with no bullshit. We're just going to maintain and still be competitive, still give our fans something to cheer about, but we're going to rebuild and flip this roster. And now here in 2025, you're going to see that flip of the roster, that rebuild per se. And a real attempt to attack this thing and chase a Lombardi trophy in Aaron Rodgers' last hurrah, his last campaign. So if you're Mike Tomlin, you really got to be able to keep a lid on some of this. And Mike Tomlin's done relatively well. Mike Tomlin has his deficiencies, but one thing Mike Tomlin can do is keep some of these things under wraps and keep them down low. Mike Tomlin doesn't usually allow the locker room to get out of hand, and that's just not one of the Mike Tomlin's bad points. Again, we could point out several, but as far as we're concerned, Mike Tomlin is definitely a player's coach, Definitely a coach that can keep a locker room at least intact enough to remain competitive and not allow it to be crazy inside of the media and boil over throughout the whole team. So we'll give Mike Tomlin that credit there, no doubt. But when you look at the Steelers now, again, you cannot afford to have disruptions defensively because you lean so much on that defense. Yes, we did a show yesterday. That offense has a tremendous potential to be really, really, really good. But again, a defense is going to be a key player, man. And if you're not steady on both sides of the football, it could be a long season, especially when you got a player like Aaron Rodgers under center that, yes, is older. You want to be able to, at least defensively, be able to help that offense out a little bit, cause turnovers, give Aaron Rodgers short fields, cause some, game-changing splash plays defensively. Really be able to control an opposing offense and minimize their opportunities to run a score up, to keep Aaron Rodgers in that comfortable zone to where he doesn't have to chase down opposing teams each week to where he's just playing from behind. You don't want any of those things. Aaron Rodgers definitely guy that's going to be comfortable playing with the lead. And if you're the Steelers defensively, you got to make sure and ensure each week that you help that offensive unit out and give them the opportunity to have those leads, that ability to get out there and be in the type of offense that we talked about yesterday, where you have those heavier packages out there that you can still spread out and jam back together and still be effective in the run game and the pass, and give the Steelers the opportunity to control the football. And Jalen Ramsey is going to have to be a key player in that. Jalen Ramsey, though, is going to have to leave his attitude in Miami. I hope he didn't check those bags at the airport when he came to the city of Pittsburgh, because it's not going to be able to be tolerated by the Steelers, because the Steelers are going to need him to be a leader. They are going to need him to be versatile. They are going to need him to move all around that defensive secondary in order for them to be successful. They traded off Minkah Fitzpatrick. There's a little bit of a hole there now. Yes, there are guys like Thornhill on the roster, maybe an undrafted rookie free agent like a Castro. Then you look at Ramsey and Slay, guys that could potentially fill in back there in the back end of the Steelers defense at the safety position. But again, the Steelers are going to need those veteran players, specifically Jalen Ramsey, to be very versatile in what they do. They're going to have to be very team-oriented. Those guys are going to have to sacrifice individual accomplishments, per se, for the greater good of the team. And if you're Mike Tomlin, that has to be the case. That's the reason you bring in some of these veterans. You want that veteran leadership and veteran presence to where the younger guys on the roster are able to feed off of that and are able to benefit from their sheer presence out there, to where teams throw away from those guys because they know those savvy ball hawk type guys like a Jalen Ramsey with 24, 25 career interceptions off the top of my head. They're not going to want to attack him. They're going to want to stay away from him. So that could create opportunities for some of these younger fellas out there. Joey Porter Jr. perhaps, but he's played lights out. He's only given up one touchdown, I believe, in 33 games as a Pittsburgh Steeler. So, the Steelers are just going to have to be solid, and the veterans are going to be the key to this. And the attitudes just cannot be present. And if you're Jalen Ramsey, do you really think that you can continue to just go place to place and have those issues? Because that will get you just up out of the league. People will just get overly tired and not want to deal with it. Jalen Ramsey last year in 2024 had 2 interceptions, 21 assists, 60 total tackles, and 1 sack in 17 games played. In 2023, he missed some time. He played in 10 games, but had 3 interceptions during those 10 games, no sacks, 4 assisted tackles, and 22 combined tackles for the Miami Dolphins. So the production was still there, 5 interceptions. Minkah Fitzpatrick, if you look at what they lost on the Steelers defense when they brought Ramsey in, I know they're not exactly the same position. Jalen Ramsey's a cornerback, but I do believe he'll play a little bit of safety. But you look at that, and you're trading 5 interceptions over 2 years, in a sack, and you're trading that for a guy that had 1 interception, and 1 forced fumble over 2 years. So you're trading that production for this production. So in my eyes, I feel like you gained here. And again, Mink had a great career. I just think he's declining right now. I think the system wasn't fitting him anymore, at least with what the Steelers wanted to do. So yeah, the issues are there. But again, the Steelers got to make sure that Jalen Ramsey does not bring this trouble to the city of Pittsburgh. They can't afford it. Not in the swan song of Aaron Rodgers. They're really trying to take advantage of this final year. And usually, thankfully, there's always a honeymoon phase. So bringing in so many new faces, perhaps this year's that honeymoon phase for the Pittsburgh Steelers with at least these players, to where you really get one solid year to just really make a run at a Lombardi trophy, and then you can go from there. That's my hope, and I think the potential is there for that. But I'm not calling the Steelers a Super Bowl contender just yet. I need to see what kind of product they put out there, and that starts in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. But again, guys, if this is all true, what the Miami Sun Sentinel is putting out there from people supposedly that are connected with the football team, where the management has said Jalen Ramsey late to meetings, late to practices, causing disruptions in the locker room, undermining the culture in Miami, that could be troublesome. But I ask you this. Is there really even a culture in Miami? Has there really ever been a culture since the departure and retirement of Dan Marino? Has there been a culture in that building since then? I don't believe that to be true. I believe the Miami Dolphins have been a faceless, nameless team for years and years and years. I think there has been no culture there. I think it's a place for players to go down there and get overpaid, get their money and get up out and live in a phenomenal area like South Beach, an area that has good weather, to where you can just go down there, hang out, enjoy yourself, collect your bread, get your bag, and know that you don't have to put your best foot forward there, because the football team isn't going to be playing into the playoffs 9 times out of 10. They're going to be a team that just goes out there and lays down for everybody and gets their butt beat. That's not Miami culture. Whether you like it or not, it's the truth. Yeah, they've won some games, they've done some things, but they never can get over that hump. They can never make a push toward a Lombardi trophy, and that's just the Dolphins, man. Yeah, in the past, they've done some things, but that was a long time ago. Everybody wants to bash Steeler fans when they bring up the 4 Super Bowl titles. Okay, we'll forget about that. But the Steelers have won modern era Super Bowls. They have been involved in the playoffs. They have been consistent. So we're not going to compare these two teams, because the culture, the way, is not the same for both of these franchises. So it is what it is, and I wanted to clear that up before people in Dolphins fandom come at me and start to say, well, the Steelers won this in the 70s, blah, blah, blah. No, the Steelers have been a cornerstone franchise of the National Football League, whether you like it or not. They are a franchise that is always competitive, a franchise that is always in the mix. Whether they've won a playoff game recently or not, they've at least been there. They've at least been consistent. So if you're a Miami Dolphins fan out there, don't compare the Dolphins to the Steelers, because there is no comparison. A team that's chasing a 7th Lombardi trophy definitely is not going to be something you're comparing yourself to if you're not even in that ballpark, which the Miami Dolphins aren't. So, yeah, they've been a champion, but they've not had 6 Super Bowls, so we're not going to compare those two franchises' history against each other, just so Dolphins fans know. And if I was a Dolphins fan, I'd be completely frustrated, because this is exactly what I talked about. And perhaps, again, I'm not excusing the behavior of Jalen Ramsey. If that's to be true, I would have traded him too. But sometimes you got to realize that when your culture is just piss poor and people just come there to collect a check, the culture it's not going to matter, guys. And if you're a Dolphins fan, until that changes, you're going to be stuck in the same thing you've been stuck in, this constant whirlpool for decades. This is what you're going to be stuck in each and every year, man. So it is what it is. We'll try to go live again. I think I'm going to end up having to go live a little bit earlier, guys. Football runs till about 8 o'clock. We have it about 3-4 days a week right now. for my youth team. I have taken into consideration a lot of your comments about documenting, so I think I'm going to start that today. Again, I'm probably not going to be able to film stuff there, but we'll see. I'm going to document, what's going on with the team, give you guys updates maybe. I think that would be fun. I think that would be something, and create another playlist. And a lot of you have emailed and made comments about, that would be something cool to see. So we'll see. We'll see if that all works out and I'm able to get that done for you guys. But hopefully we'll go live today because we always go live here on Mic Drop Sports. We just got to get our schedule fixed. And again, that's sometimes a little bit difficult. But yeah, it is what it is. So I'm Jason. This is Mic Drop Sports. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe here on YouTube if you're not already. But don't forget to follow us over on X, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. We are all over the place, and we're trying to grow those platforms as we've grown this platform here as of, the last couple of years, and we're headed toward definitely about to hit that 5,000 mark here, but we want to grow those other platforms so we can live stream our content and upload a lot more of our content to every single platform for everybody to enjoy and get a chance to join our conversation. And also, welcome to all the new followers on all those platforms, and specifically here on YouTube, all the new subscribers. We truly appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you in the chat and talking with you and talking some ball. So until hopefully later for a live, I'm crossing my fingers. But if not, we'll be back at some point tomorrow or later today. I'm Jason. This is Mic Drop Sports. Peace, my friends.
Power takes an approach as a coach.
Let's go. Let's go.
It's a field back block, and that's